Hello and Assalamu alaikum. I am Majid Bashir, currently a level 2 student at Chongqing Medical University, and you are watching Diary of a Gold Medalist. In today's video, we'll talk about how to craft an academic CV. So starting off, first of all, you should know the difference between an academic CV and a professional CV. So basically, a professional CV is a CV that you have to make to get a job anywhere in the practical field. But an academic CV is a CV that you got to make when you want to apply for a master's or a PhD and even a postdoc position. And there are a lot of differences between a professional CV and academic CV. And you got to keep these differences in mind before starting off. So the first question that comes into your mind when you want to craft a CV is which format should I use? So about the format, I usually recommend the Europass old format 2003 format, but it's not a gold standard. You can use any format in the world to make an academic CV. In this video, I'll show you my format and my CV to you people as well, so that you can get the inspiration and craft a really good academic CV. So going along about the length of the CV, the usual or the moderate length can be a 2-pager to a 3-pager CV, and the moderate being the 2.5 pages CV. So starting off with the first page of your CV, you got to put an oval shape white background photo of you on the top right corner of the first page of your CV. After that, you got to put your personal information, your name, and here you can also put your WeChat ID, your Skype ID, or your email, and followed by your gender and the nationality, obviously, because most of the time you people are making your CV for international purposes, and when you make a CV for an international purpose, you got to reveal your nationality, and that should be at the top of your CV. After putting your personal information, you got to tell the reader that why you are sending the CV. You got to mention the position applied for. And in case of an academic CV, the position you are applying for is obviously a prospective master's student or a prospective PhD student. And after you mention the position you applied for, you have to mention about your research interest. In your research interest or your research direction, and under the research direction tab, you can write 5 to 6 most important keywords of the research direction that you are applying for. After the research direction, you have to mention your education first, because in a professional CV we usually mention your work experience first, but in an academic CV you got to mention your education first, and try to list down your education in a chronological order where your latest degree will be at the top. And after mentioning your education, where you can mention about your grades and about your marks or your percentage or CGPA as well. After that section, you can mention about your work experience, all the internships or the jobs that you have gone through or that you believe can be helpful in getting a master's position or a PhD position. You can mention all those internships and work experience in this tab, and make sure to write only the necessary details. Then after your work experience, if you have got some sort of a research training, like you have done some courses that you think are helping in your research, you can mention those courses under the heading of your research training. And after mentioning your research training, you can mention about the competitive exams that you have gone through, like the NTS GAT test or the NAT test or the GRE test, because these tests do add value into your CV. After that, you can mention about your language proficiency. If you have taken any of the English language proficiency tests, you can mention about those grades and bands that you have got under this heading. And after mentioning your language proficiency, if you have got some real good honors or awards during your last degree, you can mention those here in the second page. Then after this, you have to tell a most important thing in your CV, and that's about the softwares that you can use. And that softwares obviously should include some of the research softwares like Microsoft Excel or the SPSS or the Origin, or whatever the softwares that you have expertise in. You should mention those softwares under this heading. And after telling about the softwares that you can use, you can mention about your research projects or the articles that you have published, and you will only write the name of the journal and the impact factor of the journal if in case that journal was a high impact factor journal, because obviously these things add so much value into your CV, and because it is on the ending part, so it casts a strong shadow on the reader. Then after mentioning your articles or the research project, you can mention about the memberships or some lifetime achievements, like if you have got some gold medals or got some really good grades or recognitions from poster presentations, or you have presented some work at some international conference, you can mention those things at the end of the CV. And after that, you have to give at least two references, and those two references should be side by side, and these references should include the personal information of the supervisor that have given you the recommendation letter, like his name, university, rank, and obviously the email. And that's how you'll end your CV. If you are in need of a Europass format, I can send you via email. You just have to email me at my official email given under the description of this video, and I can send you a blank format that is fully editable, and you can make a really good academic CV. And if you have got some question, you can put them down under the comment box and I'll reply to them as soon as possible. And until we meet next time, take care of yourself. Bye bye. Allah Hafiz.